Good morning, everybody. It's Mr. Richards here, and today we're going to be learning about three words that you may have heard before, and those words are heat, temperature, and thermal energy. So quick a review. From last week, you know that thermal energy is basically how fast particles are moving in an object. So if you have particles that are moving really fast, they have more thermal energy. If particles are moving slowly, they have less thermal energy. And therefore, if we're thinking about the states of matter, solids have the least thermal energy and gases have the most thermal energy, because we know that solids have particles that are moving the slowest and gases have particles that are moving the fastest. All right. Now you can see, like I said, the faster the particles are moving, the red box, the more thermal energy they have. But what is the difference between thermal energy and temperature? Well, it really comes down to math, although it's not super complicated. So think of it like this. For thermal energy, the energy of each particle is added up to get a total amount. So if there are 100 particles and they each have 5 energy, then if you add them all up, that would be 5 times 100, you'd have a total energy of 500. Okay, that's thermal energy. Now temperature is the average amount of energy of each individual particle. So if we had the same example with 100 particles and each have 5 energy, to get the average, you would have to add all of the energy of each particle up, but then you would divide it by the total number of particles. So you take 5 times 100 to get the total energy, all right, of the whole object. But then you divide it by the number of particles, which is 100, and you'd end up with 5. So in this case, the temperature would be 5 and the thermal energy would be 500. Now those are really, really different numbers, and hopefully you can see that the temperature and thermal energy are not the same thing. The last thing is the word heat. Heat is sometimes confused with temperature, as in, that is hot, it has a lot of heat. Heat actually means something completely different than that. Heat is the movement or transfer of thermal energy. So you only get heat when something is warming up or cooling down. If something is not changing energy at all, there's no heat. Okay. So the phrase, I'm going to heat up some food in the microwave, is actually correct. What you're doing is adding thermal energy to the food, increasing the total thermal energy and also the temperature. The problem is that heat is what we feel. When we touch something that is cold or hot, we are actually feeling the movement of thermal energy between our hands and the object. When something feels hot, what's happening is thermal energy is leaving that object and moving into our hand. We feel the movement of thermal energy, okay, not temperature. Now, when something feels cold, the opposite is happening. Thermal energy is leaving our body and going into the object. Again, we're feeling the movement of thermal energy from one thing to another. In this case, our body is warmer than the object, so thermal energy is leaving us and going into the object. Probably a great example to think about this is if we take your whole body and put it in a swimming pool or a lake. If the water is cold, energy will be leaving our body and you will feel cold. You'll feel that the water is cold. If you stay in there long enough, your body temperature will actually decrease because energy is leaving your body to warm up the water around you. All right, and if you stay in the water long enough, you can actually get hypothermia, or your body gets too cold. Take the other example, if you go into a hot tub where the water is warmer than your body, the water feels warm when you get in a hot tub, and if you stay in too long, your body temperature actually goes up. Again, because the energy that is in the water, because it's warmer than your body, is going into your body and increasing your body's temperature. Okay? So remember, when you talk about the word heat, what we're talking about is the movement of thermal energy. There's a video here that will help you understand a little bit more with some actual examples, although he does use some pretty big science words and he talks kind of fast. So your discussion question for the day is, give an example of something that feels cold when you touch it and something that feels hot when you touch it. Now, if you want a level 4, you need to talk about how the thermal energy is moving when you touch an object that feels hot and when you touch an object that feels cold. Now, I've just explained that, so all you have to do is write it out. All right, that's all for today. Remember, we have lessons this morning, and I will see my A and B day classes between Monday and, I'll see my A day classes between Monday and Tuesday this week. But I'll see all my science kids before Monday and Tuesday. All right, that's all. Take care, everybody.